Now, here's the interesting thing. We're going to run up against obstacles. Believe it or not, no matter how spiritual we are, there will be obstacles. Even with all the tools we have, we may face resistance. Inner blocks that try to keep the miracle at bay. And the number one block for individuals and communities as a whole is a fear of unworthiness. Who am I to receive a miracle? Who are you not to receive a miracle? You are a child of the infinite, a beloved of God, and you are worthy by your very being. Well, even a miracle needs a hand. We are the hands of miracles. Yes? Yes, we've been learning all about miracles, discovering what they are and how they can happen. So today we're going to wrap it all up. We've arrived at a sacred moment, that moment of completion. And it's not the end, it's only the beginning. So we're going to sum up, we're going to integrate, and we're going to choose to create a miracle in our own individual lives, as a community, and who knows, maybe the miracle will be we become a light in Albuquerque that shines so brightly that everybody knows who we are. Not just here in this building, but when we're living our lives out in the community. People will come up and say, why are you so positive? Why are you so happy? Oh, we live in a world where it's almost considered something wrong with you to be happy. Let's change that. That would be a miracle right there. Yes. So over the past several weeks, we've been walking together through mysteries and mechanics of miracles. And today we're going to bring it together. And as I said, this is not the end. This is the moment we shift. It's a moment we shift from learning about miracles to forming one. Because here's the truth. The miracle isn't coming from somewhere else. It comes from you. Because we are the channel, the vessel, the tuning fork, if you will. Got to throw a musical thing in there. We are it. And we have everything we need to create miracles, to be miracles, and to empower others to discover the same truths. Charles Fillmore once said, the highest and best in us is always calling us upward. I truly believe that if you are here in this building or watching us online, there is something within you that is calling to you, saying, you are more than you have become. My favorite movie line of all time, as anybody who knows me knows, it's from The Lion King, the original. You are more than you have become. We are all more than we have become. We're being called upward. We're being called to be miracle workers in our lives and in our worlds. So let's review where we've come from. 6 Sundays ago, we discovered that miracles are real. That was the foundation. They're not magic tricks. They're not divine loopholes. They are the natural outcomes of spiritual alignment. And they are not meant for a chosen few. They belong to everybody. Kimberly Braun, who's going to be with us next week, wrote this in her book. The real miracle is not what shifts outside of us, but the recognition that we are not trapped within ourselves. That's a powerful statement when you think about it. We are not trapped within ourselves. Think about the people throughout history who have proved that, who have risen above their obstacles, be it obstacles of culture, obstacles of abundance, obstacles of health. People who, despite appearances, went on to do great things. And we've learned that miracles begin with the truth of who we are. In Unity, we affirm this: our essence is of God, and therefore we are inherently good. If we are of God, and God is good and perfect and whole, and we are created in the image and likeness, then guess what? We are too. Regardless of how somebody may be behaving or showing up in life, that truth is in them. And it's in us as well. When we come from that place of divine understanding, of divine essence, anything is possible and everything is possible. Jesus assured us of this in John 14, and I'm going to say it as it's directly translated from the original Aramaic, which was the language he spoke. Listen, I'm telling you, the one who believes me will also do all that I do and even more, even greater works. Notice he didn't say, believe in me. He said, believe me. I'm telling you what works. I'm telling you the truth. It got changed throughout history. But it was not what he said. He said, believe me. All these things that I do, you can do and more if you believe me, if you listen to me, and even greater things than that. That's not a metaphor. That's a call to remember the power we've been given. Next, we learned where it begins. It begins in imagination. That is the starting place of all miracles. We have to have a picture of what it is we want to manifest in order for that to happen. Charles Fillmore defined imagination as the faculty of mind that images and forms, the power to shape thought into manifestation. Everything that has ever been built, designed, implemented, created, unfolded, has all started in imagination. Every miracle begins with an idea. It begins with a vision and a dream. Whether you're visualizing healing in your body, reconciliation in a relationship, or the growth of a spiritual community, it begins with what you're willing to see in your hearts. What are you willing to see? Are you willing to stop focusing and identifying with all the stuff that's going on out there and start looking within to see who you are meant to be? Because that is how we change things in the outer. We start with the inner. In the book of Proverbs, it says, as we think in our hearts, so are we. What are we thinking in our hearts? Our imagination is the blueprint of becoming. And the Buddha echoed that truth when he said, what you think you become, what you feel you attract, what you imagine you create. We are not victims of circumstance. We are creators in the image and likeness of the divine. You know, we look at all the news that's going on in the world around us, and all the ways people are, I'm just going to say it, acting out. And are we putting our energy into that? Or are we looking into the truth, which is within us? Because that's where the change is going to happen. And that allows us then to live in the energy of miracles. That was our next lesson. How do we live in the energy of miracles? There's an actual energy. We move from thought, imagination, into vibration. Everything in the universe is frequency and vibration. And we get into that energy. It's a state of consciousness. It's the field we live in. It's not just something we hope to witness or we pray might happen. It's something we live in, and it's something we give our energy to. Miracles are not exceptions to the rules of life. They are the rules of life when we're in that energy. We get to choose. Eric Butterworth wrote, we don't change what's out there. We change our perception and thus our experience. When we dwell in gratitude, joy, and expectancy, we generate the conditions that allow miracles to unfold. That's why so many spiritual teachers throughout history have said, be grateful. If you look at the big spiritual teachers, Jesus, Buddha, Muhammad, and so many others down through history, they always talked about being grateful. They always said, thank you, God, even before a miracle unfolded. because that generates that energy that allows the miracle to unfold. That's walking by faith and not by sight. Miracle energy does not wait for the evidence. It creates the evidence. It creates the energy. It's faith in action. And then we explored the freeing power of miracles. What does it free us from? What does it allow us to be free to do? We named the things that it frees us from: fear, limitation, old stories, lack, separation. I think separation is probably the biggest cause of the world's problems, is that sense that we are not all one. One with each other, one with God, one with the planet itself. If we really got that, a miracle would happen. But even more, we affirmed that we are free to take bold action, free to have sacred vision, free to live our lives authentically. We're free to practice radical generosity and boundless love. Myrtle Fillmore said this: "You do not have any problems except the one that is in your own mind, and guess what? You put it there." That is the truth. You do not have any problems except the one in your own mind, and you put it there. The miracle frees us from the prisons we don't even know we're in. Paul mentioned in Galatians, "It is for freedom that the Christ has set us free." Christ the man and Christ the Christ light within each one of us. It's a spiritual condition that allows the miracle to breathe through us. And then last week, Michael Small talked about moving beyond belief. That's a big one. We get caught up in these old ideas that miracles are only for the special few. No, they're for everyone. Michael invited us to shift from belief as mere mental agreement to belief as embodied love. And with his honesty and his heart, he shared his own spiritual journey. From childhood preaching on a bureau, it's a hard word to say, to answering a lifelong call that embraces authenticity and perfection. And he offered that powerful truth that the miracle doesn't begin with belief, it begins with love. It begins with love. You have to love what it is you want to see. Want to see peace in the world? You got to love peace and you got to practice it. You want to see empowerment for everybody in the world? You got to love it and empower it. Want to see abundance for everyone in the world? You got to love it and you got to empower it. You got to put your energy into it. It all begins with love. Love that sees, love that includes, and love that says you belong just as you are. Not just to other people, but to yourself as well. You belong just as you are. You are created to move beyond belief into love. So today we get into this final piece of this part of it. We begin to look at what can manifest, what can happen as a community, and what can happen in our individual lives. Do you know that healing is communal? It's communal. Thank you, somebody knows that. I'm glad one person does. It's communal. When we come together and we hold that vision of health and wholeness, we're energizing that in each other. That's why we come together. Be it on Sunday in traditional churches, on Saturday and some, on whatever day. And that's why I believe that even though church is not as popular as it once was, it's still important. I talk to young people and they tell me we want spirituality and we want community. We don't necessarily want all the religious trappings, and I understand that and kind of agree, to tell you the truth. But spirituality and community, it's in the community that we come together as one. It's in the community that we share our energy with each other. It is in community that we create miracles in our individual lives and in the greater whole. And we don't just do it on Sundays. We do it all week long here at Unity. That's what we're building towards. You know, people say, well, you don't have enough people in your sanctuary yet to expand. I don't really care how many people, well, I care, but it doesn't matter how many people are in the sanctuary. It matters how many people we touch in the world. And we do way more of that, believe it or not, through the week and on social media. But here in this moment, together, we build that energy that carries us through the week and carries us out into the world. So just as we are being called to grow as individuals, we are being called to grow as a community, to grow physically, to grow spiritually, and to grow in love. So here we are. What do we do with this? How do we do it? How do we form our miracles, our own individual miracles, and our miracle as a spiritual center? Not someone else's miracle, not my miracle. I got to stop doing that. Every time I do that, it makes a big boom on social media. Our miracle, your miracle. This is the part where we stop waiting for proof and we become the proof. Are you all ready to prove this? Do you believe it can be done? Okay, so what is a miracle? What is a miracle? It's a shift in consciousness that results in transformation. Plain and simple. It's the outer expression of an inner realignment. It is spirit made visible through our intention and our surrender. Surrender doesn't mean we give up. Surrender means we get out of the way and allow it to work through us. Jesus did that over and over again. One of the prime examples we use is when he fed the multitude. He didn't say, oh, I'm going to wait until I see enough food to feed everybody. He was in the energy of there is more than enough already. That's miracle working energy. A miracle is a natural expression of the soul that remembers its oneness with all that is. That's what Kimberly Braun writes. Remembering our oneness with all that is, our oneness with abundance, our oneness with love, our oneness with wholeness, our oneness with peace. You name it. It's not about deserving, it's about aligning. So let's break it down into 4 steps to form that miracle. First, imagine it clearly. Miracles begin in imagination. You must be willing to see what has not yet appeared and what the world may tell you is impossible. I love that word impossible. Do you know it's not in the dictionary? How many of you are going to go home and look it up? It is. But if you break the word down, it comes from a Latin root, in, meaning within. What is possible within? It's not possible in the outer. I have a great vision for this Unity Spiritual Center. You know, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to be really authentic. Those of you who know me know I've been a part of this community since way back in 1980. Even when I was gone for 7 years in Missouri, I was still plugged in here watching. I've watched us grow and shrink and grow and shrink and grow and shrink and do really good things. But we've never had a vision for anything more. And it's time. The world needs unity. The world needs new thought. The world needs people who believe in possibility. And in order to reach a greater world, we need more room. So, Elizabeth, would you put up the slide, please? That's part of my vision. Some of you may recognize that building. It's the former Unser Museum. Now, since that picture was taken, and thank you, Dan, who is with I believe with our youth right now, he changed the sign and put up Unity Spiritual Centers to the southwest. Since then, it's been sold. But remember, we don't get stuck on what it's going to look like, but we create a vision. What would it be like to have a beautiful facility that more than meets our needs? Would you change to the next slide, please? That's an aerial view of the property. Plenty of classroom space, plenty of parking, room for a labyrinth, for meditation gardens, for playground for the kids, for a picnic area if we wanted it. Room to really, really do the work of spirit. Right now, we can only do so many classes and so many healing modalities because we don't have the space. What if we had plenty of space? By the way, there's also a building there we could lease out. Now, it has been sold. So this or something better, right? Yes. Can you feel it? Michael shared with you some pictures of Unity of the Hills in Austin last week. Can you imagine what it would be like to have that kind of ability to serve the community? We could have washing machines and showers for people who are living on the streets. How much more could we do if we can catch a vision of something greater? Now, I know we love our building. It is a beautiful building. We've poured our hearts and our souls into it since 1974. Doesn't mean we have to give this up, folks. I'm going to tell you one other thing. Looking at it through the eyes of a realtor or a business, there's no way we can get that. But miracles can happen when we're in the vibration of it. I've seen it happen in Unity centers over and over and over and over again, where everybody, all the experts, including sometimes the boards, our board does not, our board has vision. Thank you, board. But where they have been told, you can't do this. I'm a Taurus. I love it when people tell me I can't do something. Imagination is the mold in which the future is cast. I don't know how it's going to happen. I don't know what it's going to look like. That's a seed picture. It's to plant a seed. I don't know what it's going to look like. I don't have to. I only have to trust. Charles Fillmore said, Jesus often asked, what do you want me to do for you when he did healing? He didn't assume. He invited people to name their vision and write it down. Well, he didn't tell them to write it down. I'm telling you, write it down. Own it. This is my vision for Unity. This or something better. But what is yours? What is your vision for your life? Is it healing? Is it better relationships with family? Is it peace? Is it abundance? Name it. Picture it. And let it be bold. Stop being wimpy. Let's not be wimpy. Let's be bold and feel it deeply, because feeling is the fuel of faith. You can't just think a miracle. You have to put it into being. You have to feel it into being. This means cultivating the emotions that you will have when that miracle occurs ahead of time. Feel the gratitude. Feel the gratitude. I give thanks for the day when somebody calls me and says, sir, I need space for this support group or this healing. And I say, no problem. We've got it. We've got a place for you to do this work. I give thanks for that. I feel it. You've got to feel joy around it. I look for the day when we have multiple things happening that are serving people in many ways, in all different stations in life, and that will bring me great joy. I have joy now in what we do, but it'll bring me even more joy and peace and expectancy. That's a good one. Expectancy. What do you expect in life? I know we can look at what's going on in the world and expect the worst, or we can expect the best. I expect that we are moving through a time of change, and it's always chaotic in that midst. But I expect that on the other end of that is a good we can't even imagine fully yet. It's unfolding. Thich Nhat Hanh, the great Buddhist teacher, said, the miracle is not to walk on water, the miracle is to walk on earth in peace. Peace in your heart, peace in your mind, peace in your actions. Peace is a frequency. Joy is a frequency. Gratitude is a frequency. And your miracle responds to how you feel about it. When you feel your miracle as already done, you attract it like a magnet instantaneously. Trust it. Trust it. This is another step where we have a lot of problems trusting. It's our biggest area of struggle. Every psychologist will tell you. But miracles don't work that way. We have to trust in what is unseen. I love what Kimberly Braun writes. The spiritual path is not linear nor logical. It is mystical and mysterious. Trust is choosing the unseen over the known. It's choosing your divine identity over your fear. In Daily Word one time, I have this taped up, and it says this: Faith is not hoping God will, it is knowing God is. Faith is not hoping God will, it is knowing God is. Miracles form in hearts that trust. Not when it's easy, but when it's necessary. And then comes the next step, act on it courageously. That's where we move our feet. You know, in our 5 principles, the 5th one is always action, right? Yes? I guess maybe I need to do more 5 principles. Trust me, the 5th one is action. This is the part we move our feet. Even the most beautiful vision must be backed up with bold action. I'm being bold sharing this. I know there's some of you out there thinking, Gordon's lost it. He's insane. Hey, it's fun. In unity, we affirm, I move forward with God as my partner. Remember, maybe you don't remember, none of us were there, but there's a story in the Bible that tells about Jesus healing 10 lepers. And even before they were healed, he told them, you are healed. Now, they didn't manifest the healing yet. He said, you are healed. Go and tell the priests. It was when they got up and started going to walk to tell the priests that the healing occurred. Faith acts. Faith moves. Faith risks. And when you've imagined it, felt it, and trusted it, it is time to do something to demonstrate it. Now, here's the interesting thing. We're going to run up against obstacles. Believe it or not, no matter how spiritual we are, there will be obstacles. Even with all the tools we have, we may face resistance. Inner blocks that try to keep the miracle at bay. And the number one block for individuals and communities as a whole is a fear of unworthiness. Who am I to receive a miracle? Who are you not to receive a miracle? You are a child of the infinite, a beloved of God, and you are worthy by your very being. As Rumi says, you are not a drop in the ocean, you are the entire ocean in a drop. And that is the truth. All that God is within you. And in a boldness, we say, yes, that is true. And anytime we forget, we remind ourselves, because we will forget. The other thing we have to learn to work with is attachment to outcome. Sometimes we get attached to how the miracle has to look. But miracles often come in surprising packages. So we learn to let go of needing it to be our way and letting it be God's way. I am not attached to that. That or something better. I believe God has something even better in mind. And of course, there's always doubt and delay that creeps in. Miracles don't follow our timeline. If it was on my timeline, we'd have that tomorrow. But I trust God. I know they unfold in perfect spiritual timing. And so delay does not become doubt. In Isaiah 40, it says this, they who wait upon their Lord shall renew their strength. That's what it's talking about. It's talking about staying the course, knowing that the seed is planted and trusting the process. So we've been envisioning miracles in I hope you've been envisioning miracles in your own lives, personal miracles. If not, start. But we've also been envisioning a collective miracle. A miracle of space, a miracle of growth, a miracle of community, and a miracle of transformation, not just for us in this room, but for people we can reach. Let me tell you, people are hungry for this. The old religion no longer works, if it ever did. The teachings of Jesus worked and still work. And we are the ones who people are going to be looking for. So remember, there is always something better in divine mind and can be in our mind, in our hearts. And we stop saying what if and start affirming what is. Kimberly Braun wrote, a community of awakened hearts becomes a vortex of miracles. Not just for the community, but for the people who have become part of the community. How many of you, and you don't have to raise your hand on this, but how many of us, myself included, how many of us found our way to unity, found ourselves in unity because of something we wanted to overcome, to grow, to learn, to heal? Healing is the number one reason people come to unity. And there's a lot of healing needed in the world today. Healing of consciousness, healing of relationships, healing of abundance. We are it in Albuquerque today, really. So, what do? First thing is we say yes to the miracle, whether it be your miracle or our community miracle. So I'm going to ask you, and again, you don't have to shout it out unless you really want to. What is your miracle? What are you ready to imagine? What are you willing to feel, trust, and act on? Because the miracle is not something you wait for. It is something you form. You form it. You already have the divine blueprint. You already have the power. You just need the willingness. And as Jesus said in Matthew, according to your faith, let it be done unto you. Where is your faith? So we say, I am ready. I am willing. I am forming my miracle. Do you want to say that together? I'll say each part and we'll say it together. I am ready. I am willing. I am forming my miracle. And let it begin today. Namaste. That was good.